Is it the right time to move in with my boyfriend? This is a really good question. Thanks for tuning in to Dear Sybersue. I'm Susan McCord. So you have a little bit of a discussion about it, and then you sit down and you start analyzing. Is this the right time for me? What are some of the factors that I should consider when I'm making this really life-changing decision? The first thing I would suggest would be making a pros and cons list. Write down things that you really love about your boyfriend, and maybe there's some things you're not quite sure about. Can you compromise with these things? This is something that may sound very clinical to put on paper, but it's a really good idea because sometimes when you write things down and you look at it, oh yeah, that is so much clearer to me now. And so it's a really, really important thing to have a little bit of a checklist as to what you're looking for in a long-term partnership. This is really important to grasp the concept of this importance. What are the big things for you? What are the deal breakers? Where would you live together? The thing that I always want people to understand is that when they're moving in with somebody, it's really good to have a neutral place that you've chosen together as a couple. Some people move into their boyfriend's place. He's lived there with other partners. There's a lot of memories. There's a lot of attachment that goes with this. But they're not your memories, they're his. So you really want to pay close attention to this. If their place is absolutely magical and it's a great deal and all the other stuff that goes with that, and there isn't any relationship issues, then you might be able to work on that. But just remember, it's always their place first. And sometimes this can become a little territorial when you move in, because you're bringing some of your feminine things into the home. He's not used to it, and this can be an issue. So that would be the first thing that I would suggest if you're planning on moving in, that you have a great idea of where you would live and that they're willing to compromise on that as well. You also want to ask yourself about how you really feel about this moving in. Because if you're really anxious about it and it's consuming your thoughts on a regular basis, that is your instincts telling you that you're not ready, or maybe there's something missing in your partnership. Please don't ignore those spidey senses, because those are leading you into the place of where you should go. So don't ignore them and just push them to the side. You want to have everything in order before you make this decision. It is life-changing, and it is one of the biggest choices that you will make in your life. And you want to make sure that you're not just moving in out of convenience. Do you love your boyfriend? Is there a connection that's communicative and romantic and loving? Do you have similar relationship goals? Now, these include the bigger things of wanting to have children. How many children do you want to have? If they don't want to have children, are you okay with that? Is that a deal breaker? You also need to be able to take care of yourself financially and not have any expectations that your boyfriend is going to be footing the bill. Because a lot of people, if they're not equal in the finance department, it can take on a different feel, and one of the people becomes a little complacent about them paying for everything. And that's not okay. You want to have your own finances. You want to be able to stand on your own 2 feet as well, because that's what makes a really good partnership, when you're both on the same page and you respect each other in that way. So is it the right time? Well, here's another question. How long have you been together? There's a reason that a lot of people end up making these decisions at the 2-year mark of their relationship. They feel they've had adequate time to get to know their partner, and their partner getting to know them. They've worked out some of the little blips that go along the way in any relationship. And if you can get through arguments and come back stronger from them, this is a good thing. If you've only been together for a few months and you haven't experienced all these things that couples go through during the time in the relationship, then you're going to not really have the full awareness of what could play out later. So yes, some relationships can work out. Someone falls in love within 2 months, they move in together and they live together, they're happy together for the rest of their life. Those are great stories, but they're not the norm. So give yourself enough time, and I would say not less than a year. And please, if you can have a trial period of living with them or travel with them for a long period of time, maybe a month somewhere, you get to know each other's habits and routines. And can you live with this? Is this going to be okay for you? And are you going to be okay for them? Because sometimes we're different personalities, and when we live together, it comes out in not the greatest way, because we're fine when we see each other outside of the home. But when we set up house with each other, there's a lot of different things that are going on. And you have to be okay with everybody's little quirks and some of the other things that happen in relationships that you don't always see when you're just dating them. Ask yourself, am I comfortable with them? Do I feel safe with them? Am I jealous? Is there any underlying things that cause you concern? This is the stuff that I'm talking about, putting down in the pros and cons on your paper here, because if you're questioning it at all, then there might be something that you're just feeling off about. And you might be able to work around that if you talk to your partner about it. But any questions or anything you have, you need to be able to express them with each other. Do you have insecurities around your partner, or do you feel really good when you're with them? Are they a little bit more of who you already are? Are they bringing more into your life? Or are you bringing more into their life? When you are comfortable with who you are when you stand alone is also a really good time when you're ready to commit to somebody else, because you don't need them to be in your life. You want them to be in your life. And this is really important factor when you are making this decision. So in answer to the question today, you know you're ready to move in when you love each other unconditionally, you respect each other, you have relationship boundaries that you both adhere to, you're on the same page with what you want in your future, you're supportive of each other's career goals and business aspirations, you actually hear what each other is saying, and you don't have problems with conflict and repairing it. You're always going to have arguments in your life, but it's how you get through those arguments that is super important in any relationship. Thank you so much for tuning in to Dear Sybersue today. Please subscribe and please leave any comments you have under the video. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.